Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Innovation Alley. We're your hosts. I'm TowelManPurple.
I shouldn't be up this late.
That's Bjorn. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over two separate takes of Amber Steel decks. We have one that is going to be aggro-oriented with Just in Time, and another one that is going to be intertwined with bodyguards. But before we get to these decks,
Tiana.
and Tiana, well, they both have Tiana. But before we get into these decks, like I always mention, please, if you haven't done so already, smash that like button. Subscribe down below to the channel to stay up to date on all the new content that we're always putting out.
Yeah, and we put it out 2 times a week. So 2 Innovation Alley every week. Don't miss it.
That's right. That's right. Now, to kick us off, I'll take the lead today with Amber Steel Aggro Just in Time. So I'm sure everyone has already played their own version of Amber Steel Aggro. If not, they've at least seen it, right? With your typical cards of Cinderella, Daisy Duck, Piglet, Smee, we have some new additions, right? Yeah. We have our Lilos. We have our Tianas, okay? So we're going to go from the beginning, start from the top, for Cinderella. Now, why would you play this card unless you had something to sing with it?
Exactly. She sings. That's the point.
We do play 2 separate songs. We have Let the Storm Rage On and Strength of a Raging Fire.
Very classic Steel songs.
Yes, it's exactly what you're looking for out of Cinderella. Then we have 4 Daisy Duck.
How could you not?
I mean,
she's
Daisy
so
Duck is a 1/4 for 1 and quest for 2, right? It is a Magic player's goblin guide in the game of Lorcana.
Yeah, like it might give your opponent one more card, but you know, who cares? They were gonna draw a bunch of cards anyway. Doesn't matter.
Right. I mean, if we're pushing pace, it probably doesn't matter, and that's what the intention of this deck is. Yeah. So, 2 costs. We have Lilo. A Magic player's Gravecaller. Oh yes, great card. Yes, another 2-quester for 2, 1/2, and it can come back. It comes back exerted if you pay 2 at the beginning of your turn, but it still comes back. So it's, I would like to call it B-Prep Protection.
Yep.
Right? Then we go to Piglet.
It goes back.
Yeah, exactly. Then we go to Piglet. Another staple in aggro decks.
Of course.
Sky Quest for 3 when you have 2 other characters other than Piglet.
That's kind of insane.
Right. So, pushing pace, stepping on the gas pedal, Piglet does that. Then Mr. Smee. Mr. Smee, 2-drop, 3/3, quest for 2. Overly statted. It gets a damage if you don't have a captain in play, where we actually do have captains. We have Piglet and another one we'll get to later. Right? But even if the damage goes there, it's fine because we also play Rapunzel. Rapunzel is one of our draw outlets in this game, in this deck, and she does a phenomenal job at doing her job, right? In drawing us cards. We have Smee to help with that. We have Tiana, the next card we're going into, that helps with that. We also have Lawrence that helps with that, and anything thereafter. Even Daisy Duck helps, right? All of these cards allow you to get the full allotment of being able to draw 3 cards. So anything from Tiana on up, and Daisy. Now, Tiana, one of the newer cards that we haven't got to talk about very much. 3 cost, uninkable, 1 strength, 4 willpower, quest for 2. Whenever a character of yours is challenged while this character is exerted, the challenging character gets -3 this turn unless unless that player pays 3. So unless you're paying an additional 3 ink, which is really backbreaking, and it kind of sets you back from being able to advance your board state in this game, then you get a debuff of 3, which is kind of insane.
So basically, if they play a Maui, if they can't pay 3 ink, which they probably can, then Maui is a 3/5 instead of a 6/5. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. Which means if it decided to crash into Tiana, Tiana still lives.
She survives Maui. That's insane.
Yes. So this card, definitely in there. Definitely showed a lot of love. I know that there's an argument for other players that, well, Tiana dies to Brawl. And you know what? She does. But so do so many other cards in this deck that you're probably going to end up brawling something.
they're not gonna have a million brawls.
Right.
But like the only like I guess if you have so many low strength characters, one concern would be Big Sisu, but that's like in the future. That's very far off. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. I feel like this game, you're trying to end the game by turn 5 or 6 before, like, basically before Big Sisu comes out.
All right.
Then you have Lawrence, another staple in this deck, right? 3 cost, 4/4 that quest for 2. If it's damaged, it's a 0/4. And it just once again, it feeds Rapunzel. I can't stress that enough. And then we already talked about Rapunzel. We'll just move right on to Pluto. Just like Lawrence, it's a 5/5 until damaged. When it's damaged, it's a 1/5. Also feeds Rapunzel, but this one's added preservative is that it also has Bodyguard. Okay?
That's pretty good.
It's really good. I can't fathom not playing this card. And then we also have Nani, a 3/6 that quests for 2 that also has Bodyguard, and it's a 5 cost.
Yep.
Right? So these two are just protective in nature against any opposing threat to take care of our little minions that we just want to hold dear to us. And moving along, we have Beast, the 3/5 quest for 2 that lets you draw an additional card at the beginning of your turn as long as it's undamaged. And if it's damaged, we still have Rapunzel.
Rapunzel heals it. I mean, that's a good combo. Rapunzel and Beast is a classic.
So Rapunzel, Beast, both of these cards do what we love doing, which is drawing cards.
Drawing cards.
All right. Now, last but not least, the big boy himself, Gantu. 5 cost 4/3 that quests for 4.
Quest for 4. That's insane.
So
Not 1, not 2, not 3. Quest for 4.
4. Exactly. So this guy with a 4 strength evades all of the red removal unless they have like a 2 or 3 piece cards like combo to do so, like Ice Block, etc. Right? So this card is applying an immense amount of pressure. Not only that, if you play this card off the strength of a Just in Time,
Just in Time.
you're getting this guy out on turn 3.
Makes it so much better. Like a Gantu on turn 5, I think maybe your opponent can answer that. You know, like maybe they got some stuff.
It's possible.
Gantu on turn 3, no way. Gantu on turn 3, opponent's cooked.
Yeah, it's really tough. I think the only deck that can feasibly answer this on turn 3 would maybe be Amber Steel on, like, if they have
Smash.
Cinderella Strength, right?
Yeah, or Smash.
Or
Do
Smash.
people play Smash anymore?
Just
sometimes
Blue
they do.
Steel. Just Blue Steel plays Smash currently. And actually, also Purple Steel plays a couple copies of Smash as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some people play that sometimes. But yeah, strength also could. But yeah, like I said, it's probably most likely not. Like turn 3, it's difficult.
Right. So if we're curving out and we go turn 1, either of these cards turn 1, either of these cards turn 2, just in time into
Gantu
any of these, whether it's protection with Bodyguard, drawing cards with Beast, or monstrous quester with Gantu, we are just off to the races. And that's not a pun for that's not even a pun for the Sugar Rush deck. These aren't even locations. And I know that's more my style, but the Just in Time is still there.
Crazy.
All right, folks? It's great.
Crazy. Yeah, and they're going to quest for so much Beast. They're gonna draw your cards again that early. It might be difficult for them to stop Beast, and if they damage Beast, right? If you just in time Beast and they damage Beast, well, next turn you're gonna have 4 ink. So guess what card comes down from your hand? Ah, insane.
Bjornpunzel comes down.
Yeah. Or you could then Nani, like just protecting the small things like, you know, Daisy on 1, Piglet on 2, Nani on 3. Are you kidding me? You just win. Awesome. I love it. Just in time, so strong.
Very, very
just
strong.
Draw it.
I think it's really well poised in this deck. It gives the deck a little bit more reach. With the fact that it still has like a little bit of a song package to traditional Amber songs. You know, we have 8 songs.
Yep.
But beyond that, I think this is actually extremely competitive. Go ahead, give it a try. Let us know what you think. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take this time to move on to the next Amber Steel deck, which is Tiana-Bodyguards by Bjorn Punzel. Now, Bjorn, take us away.
Me personally. So, similar idea here. We have Cinderella and Daisy Duck as our one draws because they're just pretty good. I have actually another song. I have your songs. I have Storm and Strength, but I also have the Bare Necessities over there. And as you can see, I have Musketeer Tabard.
Ooh.
4 of them because I have a lot of bodyguards. I have 20 characters with bodyguard in my deck. That's kind of what we're building around a little bit.
So this card is definitely be prepared protection here.
Yeah. Whenever one of your characters with bodyguard is banished, you may draw a card. And that's insane. And if you have 2 tabards, you get to draw 2 each time bodyguard is banished. So this is pretty much all the draw we need, honestly.
Card's good.
Yeah, and we also, as another 2-drop, we have the Mini, which is also a Singer 3. And whenever you play a character with bodyguard, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character.
That's pretty good too.
Yeah, and you have a lot of bodyguards. And of course, the new Lilo, just like you, Lilo Surfer, she comes back from the discard pile. Very awesome. If you're low on cards,
Super
use
low
ink
to the
for that
ground.
instead.
Yeah.
And I think in this deck she's even more powerful because I have so many bodyguards that she comes in exerted, doesn't matter. I have so many bodyguards protecting her that it's she's gonna be fine. I don't have Piglet. I didn't want too many low characters, and I wasn't like positive that I would always be able to have 2 buddies for Piglet. So I elected to skip him. But I do got also the Tiana, legendary Amber Tiana, because she's just so good, right? And especially since I have so many, big bodyguards, that protecting them with Tiana's ability just makes them even more impossible to get rid of. You can see, just like you, I have Pluto here, but we don't share any other bodyguards. That's very interesting, right? I don't have the Nani. For example, but I do have the Little John bodyguard over there. That's my cheapest bodyguard. I elected to not have any of the cheap bodyguards because I think that they're a bit too weak to really benefit from my things, right?
Like
sure,
Simba,
I get a draw
Kida,
card when they disappear,
Hercules, Prince, all that.
Yeah. So 2/4, I think this is great. Sure, Fox removes it, but it survives 3 so it survives the most attacks. And also during your turn, this character gains evasive. So it's a 2/4 that can take out Diablo or stuff like that. I think that's very, very good to have.
That's worth noting. The fact that it gains evasive on your turn is pretty sick.
I guess getting Pluto, I can't heal with Rapunzel, but I think Pluto's still good. I mean, I can heal with Mini, I guess.
Yeah.
And I got Chenpo. Chenpo is a 4/7.
He's a big boy.
5 cost, 4/7 bodyguard. He has the biggest stat. He's just amazing. He only quests for 1, but that's fine. That's fine.
He is a big boy. This is interesting.
Yeah. I got the new Cobra Bubbles, former CIA. He's a bodyguard. He's a 3/4 the quest for 2. So he's like your Nani, but he has 2 less willpower. But to make up for that, he has a very interesting ability. You can pay 2 ink to draw a card, then choose and discard a card. So if you're not happy with your hand, you can just cycle through, draw a card and get rid of another card. Too many uninkables or whatever your problems are, he can kind of fix your hand. And I think that's really good, and I think it's worth the 2 willpower loss because I got other bodyguards like Chenpo if I want a lot of willpower anyway.
I think this also, the 2 ink draw and discard, I think that also gives you a turn that's later in the game where you have 6 to 8 ink, where if you're looking for a removal piece, you can just dig through the deck to try to find
because absolutely. If I'm looking for a Strength of Raging Fire to remove the opponent's stuff, absolutely, it draws through your deck. That's very nice. Got the big hurt.
That's a big boy too.
Yeah. 6/5 bodyguard resist +1 quest for 2. Only downside is, sadly, it does get taken out by Maui. Unless, of course, we have the Tiana.
Bing, 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 bing.
Or if we have the next card here, Little John Shift. Right, so first off, we have the small one. Small Little John costs 3, so we can play that and then shift this on turn 4 already.
Yep.
Or just, the later date, just pay 4 instead of 6. But anyway, while this character is exerted, your characters with Bodyguard gain resist +1 and get +1 lore.
Okay.
So if this guy is exerted, then our Hercules does not get taken out by Maui because now it has 2. This really helps our math.
It's like, I feel like this guy is some sort of martial arts teacher because he's giving them all extra stats, man.
Resist +1 and again, +1 lore. So sure, I don't have as much like questing as you do. Like I have a lot of stuff that quests for 1, like nothing that quests for 3 or more. Like just a couple that quests for 2. However, as soon as that Little John is exerted, suddenly all my bodyguards quest for 1 more, and that adds up.
Yeah, then your deck starts
That
looking like mine.
really, really adds up. So
That's
yes,
awesome.
that's the whole idea.
Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. Bodyguards. There's a lot of them, man. That's super insane. I do like the idea. I think
That's 20
we'll nip
bodyguards,
this.
a third of my deck.
We'll nip this one in the butt really quick and touch base on the one card. What is one card that you think that a viewer may comment that is missing from this list?
Ooh. Well, I think either they would advocate for me to include Rapunzel, since you have a lot of big characters. Or perhaps they would like to see me play cheaper bodyguards like Kida and Simba.
My brain was going towards the Rapunzel. I think that that's something that would be noted. So I wanted to touch base with it real quick and say that you wanted to try to build without it. This was intentional.
Yeah, exactly. And that's because I think that people are not gonna like attack your bodyguard with like one character and then just pass the turn. If they're gonna attack your bodyguards, they're going to take them out. So there's not going to be a lot of opportunities where your stuff is actually damaged. Like that's not really gonna happen unless they like want to attack one thing into Pluto just to get rid of its strength. So I don't think Rapunzel is needed. Rapunzel is maybe good for if we want to attack, but I don't think we do. I think this doesn't look like a questing deck at first, but then you look at the Little John and suddenly it is, right? We're gonna quest most of the time.
Turns the whole table around.
Yeah, so I don't think Rapunzel is a good fit. I don't think he is very usable in here. That's it.
Yeah, I do agree that I think if a player is attacking into a Pluto, it's to set up a way to remove it as well. Because leaving Pluto with damage, you're not going to assume that your opponent that's playing the colors Amber Steel is not playing Rapunzel, right? So that's just too much of a threat.
I have
to
the mini. Yeah, I have the mini still. I can heal Pluto.
Right.
But yeah, your deck, you have Smee and you have Lawrence, like, you have bees that people really want to just put some damage on and leave it. So definitely with your card choices, Rapunzel makes a lot more sense. But in my list, I don't think it does.
I actually agree with you. I think where Rapunzel people would still slot in your deck, I also see the validity for not playing it. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, in my opinion, the 4 Musketeers board are plenty enough.
It takes the same cost of a Rapunzel, right? They're both 4.
Yeah, and it's gonna give you more cards. Like it's just straight up gonna give you more cards through the course of the game than two or 3 cards from Rapunzel. No. Bar just keeps giving you value.
Yeah, and there aren't many decks that have an answer to the Tavern. Item destruction is few and far between nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. People don't really have much item removal anymore, so you're gonna get away with it probably.
Right. Well, folks, there you have it. 2 separate takes on Amber Steel, both showcasing Tiana, but having their own twist and spice to them. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming and watching these videos. We love and appreciate all of you so very much. And like we always end the video, if you have any comments pertaining to these decks, go ahead and type them below, whether it's a critique, if you have something that could be added, something maybe we should take away, some of your experiences with trying these decks out, or even if you have something new for us to work on to put into another video.
We love suggestions.
We love it all. That is it for now, and we appreciate you guys. Until the next one.